Hello and welcome, IT-TVGaming here. In today's episode, I want to show you how I come up with the designs for my tutorials on my channel and the thought process behind them. Well, simply the purpose of this video is to give you a glance behind the scenes. And in order to do so, I will just use the replay mod and show you the footage. I will just pause whenever I feel necessary, give you some information and details about it. So if you are someone who likes to come up with their own design, or you just want to know how things come together, I will highly suggest you watching the whole video. For this example, I will just use the nether portal tower you see behind me, but this applies of course to all my designs, so it doesn't really matter what you are planning to build. But anyway, let's just get started. Okay, now going into this project, the only thing I really knew is that we are going to have some dark colors and some purple. And I decided to go with the deep slate, just actually complement that darker color. And here you can see me just trying to come up with the color I want to use as contrast. Now, the first thing I want to tell you is that if you are building something which is small and you don't have a lot of space to make details or add things to it, the simplest thing you can do is try to make things interesting. And this simple art shape like this just makes it visually more interesting than it is. Really, this is just a very simple step to make it better than a flat wall. And also here I will add some extra color, which first I went for the crying obsidian, but I later changed that to some diamonds. Here you can see me just trying to find the next color I want to use. And that's actually the second thing I want to talk about briefly. If you are going into a project, it doesn't really matter what you want to do, but you want to decide what colors you are going to use during that project. Ironically, you can see in this example over here, I didn't, because I am going to change a lot of colors here. You will see me try many colors at some point. So now here I'm just trying to make this flat wall over on the sides a little bit more interesting by just simply adding some stairs. And here I add a second arch so that you create this extra depth over here. Now this is not very visible from this angle, but I will later on change the stairs over here as well, so it's a lot more clear by then. But first let's just keep going. Go on. Okay, now this was the first pattern I came up with and the first wall, and this looks just awful. Well, it would look okay once I add the details. It will look okay because it won't be that visible. Okay, now nothing interesting, and again I am adding a arch shape, and this is a very simple way of doing it. You can just add your stairs like you would do with a simple roof, and then just add one full block. You will get this look over here. So it looks a lot more difficult than it actually is, because if you are making a tower and you are just using a flat stair just going up and down, it just looks too simplistic. Not necessarily bad, but you know, simply adding a full block just adds so much more. So okay, now I'm just covering up these walls, and the next couple of things I do just doesn't make sense. I will talk about them as well. Okay, here we go. Now I first tried the pale oak wood, tried mangrove, which to be honest looks good. Oh wait, there's a lot of things happening over here. Okay, yeah, well, you can simply see that I'm just trying to come up with the colors I'm going to use. And to be fair, I really liked this, but the reason why I didn't go for the mangrove is because blue is my favorite color, so I just wanted to use blue. Glowstone looks actually very good with the mangrove, to be honest. And I will definitely use that combination at some point. I probably did already, but again, I really like the glowstone. And honestly, if you are building this, just replace this with mangrove, and it will look amazing, especially if you are doing it in the nether. Now, I don't know why I added those buttons because they look just awful. I needed another color just to give this more contrast. One thing I can tell you for sure is that now, as long as you use a dark color in contrast, you can combine every color you want to. And in this case, I went for the deep slate. Now, I don't like to use concrete as much because, well, you don't have concrete stairs, and the problem with that is you can not only mix it with other colors which are actually not that dark. Okay, now again I'm trying to add another color to it. Well, the purple. I don't know why I even thought that this looked okay. Now I look at it, it just looks so awful. But anyway, that's how you come up with things, right? So it's just try and error. Simple as that. So it's never actually about the finished product at all. Unfortunately, that's often the only thing you guys see. But that's a different video, I guess. You see me do this a lot, just adding 2 blocks and then taking a step back just to look at it. And that is one thing I would recommend you to do as well. So you just need to change it until it feels right. I think that's the best way to put it. And this obviously didn't really feel right. I didn't do a good job with, you know, mixing that, so I'm changing that as quickly as I can. Now I just added this simple shape over here just to make this wall more interesting. You don't need to have a big massive space to detail it. You can just make simple small shapes. Once you look at that from a distance, you can see that there is some contrast. So, and that's the whole thing. You just want to create some depth within the space you have. Now the nether blocks, I like that, so I will keep that. And again, I am trying the mangrove. I am really pushing for it. And like I said, the reason why I pushed for it is because I really liked how the deep slate and the mangrove looks. But I think if you want to use the mangrove and the deep slate, you can maybe go for a more yellow or red tone, maybe orange, I don't know, but the greens and the blues, they don't really look right. Well, for me at least, I don't really like it. So now again, I'm really trying to push the mangrove here. Now I actually added these enchanting tables because I tried to make this look a little bit more magical, because the book is just floating and rotating, so it just adds another visual. Started with the crying obsidian, but then changed it for the diamonds. Now the reason why I did that is because it just adds some depth, and don't worry about, and it just adds some more depth to it. So I use ores in my builds a lot just because of the details they add, and also it just looks cool, I guess. Now I went for the copper just because it's not really blue. It looks more like a mixture of green and blue, so that's why I use that one, because it just adds some more depth and contrast between colors. Even if it looks similar, it isn't, so that actually helps. And that's why I use the warped stairs over here. Okay, and this is another good example of what I mean by you don't need big spaces to make things detailed. You can just add some stairs and it will just give this depth over here. Understand that if you look at it from this angle, you can't really tell. First glance, you believe it's just flat, but it isn't, and it just adds interest in the build. If I would push all of this until this point, it will look flat. But if you just push it back one layer each time, you get this visual effect of, you know, it stays interesting the whole way, and that's the point. You want to keep the attention, so you want to make sure that things are interesting enough to keep looking at it. And again, I am using the lanterns, the soul lanterns, because, well, it just adds with the blues. But I will use some glowstone. I think I will keep these and add some at the top. I don't know how it comes together, but I do know how it comes together, but I don't know at which stage I changed these things. Here we go. So yeah, I used the sea lantern over here just to complement the blues again. And then of course, end rods, which add the white color. I've used some end rods over at the corners over here as well. As you can see, everything just guides your eye up, and that's the purpose of it. Okay, so you want to have a pyramid shape, and not that kind of pyramid. Okay, just pyramids as we know, because that keeps you just looking at it. Okay, so let's keep going. One thing, the pathway over here took me a very long time. You will see me struggle with picking which color I want to use, so it's pretty interesting. Look at this idiot just changing the thing he just placed. Look, not once, but I think really 4 or 5 times I went back and just changed it. Let me stay over here so that I get the full picture. Okay, no. Okay, now this kind of looked good, and you can see me try to decide if I go with it or not. Let me see how long it takes. Well, remember, this is 8 times the speed, so if I spent like 1 second over here, it will be 8 seconds in real life. So let's see. Oh, it's still not changed. Well, 4 seconds, maybe 3 seconds. So I was kind of looking at it for 24 seconds. I went for the same color, but I used glowstone at the end. And the reason was because I wanted to have this dark contrast because it just looks too bright otherwise. And that's simply what I decided to do. Now I will add some trapdoors. And again, this is try and error, right? So I won't use this, but I place it, take a look at it, and then just, get rid of it. And that's just how it goes. Okay, well, okay, any moment I can make a decision. Okay, now the flowers, well, simply, it is a very simple way of decorating things. Now the blue orchid will always be used because it's just my favorite color and, well, I guess my favorite flower as well. Now the torch flower, again, it has the yellow, it has the red, it has the purple, and it has some green. So it's just the perfect flower to use with this build. It just contains every single color I've used over here. Now I will use some red at the end, so I will add some roses. Now the reason why I added the roses is because it kind of complements the purple and obviously the black, because black kind of works with every other color. So we have no color which doesn't really go with it, so it works. Again, the glowstone obviously it's yellow, so you can see that it just goes well with it. And I will change the pillars over here at some point. No, here we go, just adding some copper. And the reason why I did that is, well, as you can see before, it just looked like a flat black wall going up. And now by simply adding a trapdoor and closing it, you add another layer. Even if you are making something which is very tall or just very big, the best thing I find to do is just break it up in layers and then try to make every layer interesting. So instead of having a flat wall going up, which works, it's perfectly fine, but just simply adding a trapdoor adds another layer. And that's why I will later on add some more trapdoors, like oak trapdoors. Again, I'm just covering up the walls over here. And now the reason I added these upside down stairs is just to give this a little bit more depth and shape. All about shapes, right? So as long as you have interesting shapes, you can make things work. And I just keep going until it looks good. Well, here you can see that I can't really decide what to do. Here we go. Now here I'm just adding some more details just to finish up the roof. Now I decided to extend this and then just bring it in, just because it looked too flat once you look at it from this angle. So I wanted to fix that, and the simplest way was to, extend these sides and make it go inwards. I will change this with some pale oak wood at some point as well. And well, I already added the beacons. Now the beacons is one of my favorite, but it is very expensive, unfortunately, to get it in survival, and the end rods as well. Now here, just simply finishing the roof, making it higher, more pointy. And at some point, I think, here we go. And well, at the end, I decided to add some blackstone because it is darker than the deep slate, just to again add some contrast to it. And I think it looks very good. And I forgot to close one of these trapdoors, which still annoys me, but here just adding simply some buttons. Here we go. I'm still trying to fix the pathway. Well, we are finished. Good job. Good job. And here we go. Now, hopefully you found that interesting. And also, if you did, please leave a like and subscribe, because I don't remember talking this much in a video ever. So thanks for watching. Have a nice day. I'll see you the next time.